Hi, this is Kingsley. Today we're taking a look at this phone right here. This is the Tecno Camon 18. Now, this is the second installment in the Tecno Camon series that Tecno has released this year. Earlier in the year, we saw the Tecno Camon 17. Now we are seeing the Tecno Camon 18. Now, what I have here is the regular Camon 18, not the Pro model. I'll make a video about the Pro model later on. Starting out here with the design of this phone, the Tecno Camon 18 is made in plastic or is built out of plastic. Both the frame, the back, and every other part of this phone except the camera cutouts and the display, those are the ones that are made out of glass. At the bottom of the Tecno Camon 18, you find a USB-C port, a headphone jack, and a single speaker outlet. Then at the right side of the Tecno Camon 18, you find the power button, which also doubles as the fingerprint reader. And that fingerprint reader is pretty fast as expected. And of course, we have the volume up and down keys there. Then at the left side of the phone, you find the dual SIM tray that can take 2 SIM cards and an SD card. The display on the Tecno Camon 18 here is a 1080p display. It's 6.8 inches in size and it's an IPS panel. This display has a very tall aspect ratio. Now, and I've tried to check what the aspect ratio is exactly. I couldn't find, but I'm assuming this is a 16:9 aspect ratio because I've used it to consume content on most social media platforms like TikTok that support the 16:9 aspect ratio, and it just fits in very well. This display has a 90 Hz refresh rate, and it's very smooth comparing it to devices like the Redmi 10, which I tested out recently and I did a review video here on the channel. This display is actually bright enough, but one thing you will notice here, or you can't help but notice, is that by the camera cutout here in front, you're going to be seeing or noticing the blue LCD bleed around the display. Now, this is a problem with most devices in this category. Most mid-range or budget devices like this always have these issues with that LCD bleed. But this one also is not as bad as the Redmi 10, which was also bleeding by the edges. Outside of that, the display is still good, great viewing angles. You can still use the display outdoors, and you're still going to be able to see what you are doing very clearly. From the box, the Tecno Camon 18 comes with Android 12, and the device is being powered by the MediaTek Helio G88 chipset. And then you get up to 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigabytes internal storage. Now, the MediaTek Helio G88 that runs on the Tecno Camon 18 is what runs on most mid-range devices in this category, like the Redmi 10. But surprisingly, that chipset has been optimized to run better on this phone. Like, you can game with it at probably medium graphics settings or high graphics settings, depending on the kind of game that you're playing, and also performing day-to-day tasks like watching videos and using social media and putting the phone under heavy task of switching between applications and everything actually works very smoothly. For the battery of this phone, you get up to 5,000 milliamps battery, and it supports 18 watts fast charging. Now, screen on time on this device could be between 7 to 8 hours, which is fairly good enough for the battery capacity that the device has. So that means depending on how much of a heavy user you are, this phone should be able to take you through the whole day before you're able to kill the battery. As for the cameras, you're going to get a 48 megapixel main sensor. You got a 2 megapixel macro lens and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Then in front of the device, you're going to get a 16 megapixel wide angle lens. The Tecno Camon 18 cannot shoot videos in 4K. It can only shoot videos in 1080p and probably 2K. And the 2K is really not that much of a difference. It doesn't, like I've tried to look, I can't see the difference between the 2K video and the 1080p video. But in terms of the kind of pictures that it takes, let's start with my favorite part of them here, which are night mode pictures. Night mode photos on this phone are just on point. Like, it's surprisingly good. I have some more expensive phones that can pull off the kind of night mode pictures that this device pulls, and that is a plus and something I really, really love about this phone. As for regular pictures, I think the performance is just average because a lot of times the HDR doesn't work as expected, and other times it works very, very well. So there is no consistency. But if you're buying a phone like this, you should expect this kind of behaviors from the cameras because, I mean, you get the point. All right, so that's just a brief review of the Tecno Camon 18. I think we're going to spend more time reviewing the Pro model, which is where the real upgrades are. Until then, my name is Steve Kingsley, and I'll catch you again.